My bad. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. My cohort, Dan the Dick Warner, is waiting backstage for us to get started tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Some big trades in the NBA. The Super Bowl's coming, and it looks like Brett Favre is suing Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp. Man, we got some stuff to discuss. It's going to be an interesting show. Of course, as always, I want to start by giving a special shout out to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Gunslinger Soap is handmade soaps and beard products made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping over $30. That's gunslingersoap.com. Definitely check them out. Let's bring in
Sarah also wants to know.
Somebody who is now hopeful that his homeboy LeBron might have a shot at a playoff, run this year. Dan the Dick Warner.
How's it going, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. How's your week going?
Well, I didn't follow any sports like usual. I like to be very reactionary to the stories. I like to give the crowd everything that they deserve as far as a genuine and not have any bias, you know? I like to just hear about it from other people and then
fucking bias.
Not have any bias at all.
Oh, holy shit. Oh, God.
That's how I live my life, really.
We get started. For those of you that have never listened to Sports Report After Dark, we swear, we drink, we wear our sunglasses. We get real. We don't spin shit. We call it how we see it. We like to talk a lot about off the field issues as well, and we will get to some of that tonight. There was something that I felt was worth talking about. Thank you, Brett Favre, for always coming in clutch. But first, you know what, man? NBA trade deadline, some super exciting shit. I have to talk about it. I can't not discuss the huge trades that have gone down over the last week. I know I'm pretty sure on Monday we were talking about Kyrie going to the Mavs. That was definitely interesting. And then your Lakers finally get rid of Russell Westbrook. Tell me.
Now the season begins.
Tell me. So break the trade down. What all was in this? Remind me again.
On paper, I mean, it doesn't look like a great deal for either. It looks kind of even. A lot of people consider it not even because a lot of people think that Russ Westbrook is washed up. I don't think that he is. I think that it's totally about what we talk about. Like literally, it's about the personalities in that locker room are not
absolutely
at all in the same line. Okay. And clearly now, after that Anthony Davis footage came out where he's sitting down for the all-time record when literally almost everybody else in the entire arena is standing up. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Like at the moment of the shot and everything. Okay. I don't care if you go over and you don't got to suck his dick about it. Okay. I'm not saying you have to like fucking be the happiest dude, but stand up for the fuck. Like if that's the other team was, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's
right.
so disrespectful. Like so disrespectful.
I see what you're saying, but I had to agree with Skip's take on this is the AD felt like he should have been out there on the court. He gets pulled after his fourth foul, and then LeBron makes the shot. AD is basic, LeBron's best friend on the team. AD feels like he should have been out on the court and the first one to congratulate him, and so that's why he was frustrated. So I get what you're saying, but honestly, I kind of see it how Skip does. I could see why AD would feel that way.
I
it
guess
makes sense to me.
But stop making it about you, Anthony Davis. Like, it's not about you, Anthony Davis. Like, that's making it about himself, dude. Like, do you think he didn't know that people had fucking cameras on the bench? Like, he knows that shit's going to be seen. Like, also, I saw him when he does eventually come up. I don't know if it was because, see, this is why that theory doesn't work, though, with him just being upset about not being in there. Dude, he rolls his eyes. You can watch the video. He literally daps up LeBron James. I said this earlier. He daps up LeBron James and rolls his eyes, like kind of just like dismissively, like kind of like, oh shit, well, like very like bitchy. And I'll have to find the video, but the same. I don't know, dude. It was weird, and I saw that first, and I didn't see the fucking sideline shit. And then when I saw the sideline shit, I was like, oh, that motherfucker, dude. Like, it seems fishy to be like, oh, he just wasn't like right next to him. Okay, you're his best friend. You get to fucking party with him later. Why the fuck? Like, just stand back and let the other dudes fucking talk to him and shit. Let his family talk to him and shit. Stop making it about you, Anthony Davis, for real. Like it's like it's so stupid. Like, oh,
no,
you wanted to be the first to congratulate him.
Yeah, it's no, and you're right. And I'm not defending like AD. Honestly, yeah, dude should have stood up. He should have been up. Like, regardless of your feelings of the situation, man, that is something that you're not ever going to see in probably your lifetime, because unless the NBA goes to 85, 90 games, which they should not do.
Right. No, absolutely not.
The chances of that kind of a longevity achievement happening again are very, very slim, because especially when you add in, like you're talking about an undisputed, he's still going to play for another couple of years at least, probably 4. I mean,
right.
It's like 43,000 points he's going to end up with in his career. Not going to see that ever again, not with load management and not with the talent that you see in the NBA today.
Yeah, I think it will be around 43,000 or so. He's literally going to he'll probably try and take it up to the area that Kareem did, because Kareem scored 7,000 more points after he fucking broke the record. Right. So he's going to try and push it to that level. Probably try and push it to that level. Yeah, I don't know. AD, regardless of what people think about this, like, I would like to hear his side of it, honestly. Has he addressed it in anything yet?
Not that I've seen, no. And honestly, I would be surprised if he did. Like, honestly, I would be surprised if he did, because ultimately, I think this is one of those things that sports buffs like us, like, we'll talk about this in 10 years. We'll be like, that salty motherfucker wasn't paying respect to what LeBron was doing. But we're never going to get an explanation for what really happened. It's just going to be assumptions.
Right, Tony. And I'm not saying like I said, I'm not saying you got to go out there and suck his dick, because obviously he got his dick sucked enough during that. Like, they fucking stopped the game for like 15 minutes. Like, it's fine. Stop making it about you, Anthony Davis. Like, it's not about you being the first one. Even if that is the case, it's still fucking so. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still fucked up, because if a Boston Red Sox is going to break 763, like they're going to hit 764 in a game, and I'm there. As much as I hate the Red Sox, I'm standing up that whole fucking time and I'm congratulating that dude for an all-time achievement. Like, it's just a respect thing, and let alone his fucking teammate. Supposed to be his best friend, right? It's the weirdest thing ever, dude.
And that's kind of the thing is, I do feel like the removal of Russell Westbrook is going to impact the culture in that team. And I think that, honestly, regardless of who they brought in, which I think D'Angelo Russell, he'll be a good piece. I don't hate what the move did, but what I look at with the trade and what the Lakers have picked up, if they can't find any chemistry, they're not going to fucking get anywhere. They could be a playoff tournament, play-in tournament, playoff team, play-in team that makes it to the playoffs. They're not going to get very far. And you have now mortgaged more of the future of the Lakers on winning sooner rather than later. But if they don't get that chemistry right, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not.
Yeah, and you're on a perfect track there. I think the biggest difference, too, in LeBron James is that LeBron can't carry teams to the finals anymore, but he'll drag the Lakers into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll maybe get that the playoff round win and get into the actual playoffs like they did last year. But after that, it's a complete crapshoot, because you don't know if Anthony Davis is there and not being a little bitch about everything, then D'Angelo Russell's a good piece, shooter. Malik Beasley was the other part of that deal. Yeah. And then they had 4 second-round picks? Something like that? That's a lot. That's a lot of fucking haul for the Lakers for Russ Westbrook, who was never going to be on their team, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he was never going to be an actual part of there. So they upgraded without having to give away anything.
Well, and Utah is apparently just going to buy him out. That's what's expected, is Utah's going to buy Russell Westbrook out, and he's going to be on the open market. Which
he's gonna come back to the Lakers.
Honestly, no, I like the talk of him going to Chicago. I think that would be a good pickup for them.
Anywhere where he can fly. Like, he's a peacock, you gotta let him fly. Like, you gotta
like I said,
you have to.
No, you're right. Because but at the same time, if he stays in that 6 role, he's making a consistent case for 6th man of the year right now, coming off the bench, and he's done it. He has it's 18-10. If I remember correctly, I
think he's capable. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think that could be a good impact or a good pickup for the Bulls, especially if you use him in that second unit, because it just makes them better.
On paper, it doesn't look great. Like for the for LA, really, it doesn't look great. It's like that's not a fucking splash move, like obviously like Phoenix made, right? That's not a fucking
right.
Yeah, it's not a splash move, but it does so much in like what we talk about, like the personalities in that locker room, like just get. It's gonna have to be, dude. I don't know how they keep Anthony Davis unless Anthony Davis went straight to LeBron and was like, "Hey, dude, you know it's not fucking disrespectful, blah blah," and they squashed it right there. Like all of us can sit there and fucking talk about how we thought it was disrespectful, or whatever. But as long as those two are fine, I think it'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I would hope that Anthony Davis has addressed it and been like, "Hey, bro, you know it wasn't like right." But if he hasn't, then maybe that's an issue now too. And how do you keep Anthony Davis if that's an issue? You know what I'm saying? Like how you can't keep him on the team either, but you have to almost because the trade deadline's gone.
It's gone, and he's still there.
So he's a Laker. Yeah.
So, but I mean, if that's an issue, do you think the Lakers would be in a position to be able to move off of Anthony Davis in the offseason successfully?
Yeah.
Because I know he's still under contract, so it would be a trade. Like, is there going to be a decent enough market that you're going to get something back for AD if you put him on the market and send him packing and you tell LeBron, look, I know you're not in a new contract. We want you to stay, but he's got to fucking go.
I mean, look what they just got for Russell Westbrook, dude. Somebody who people think is definitely washed up. We have another situation where we know that Anthony Davis is injury prone. He's injured street clothes all the time, right? So we know that, and then we know Russ is kind of here and there, bowling a China shot, that type of shit. And you have the same situation, but I think you can get more for Anthony Davis for sure than three pretty good players.
Younger.
Right.
He's younger, so you just have to hope that he spends more time not injured than he does injured, and you can still get enough out of him for it to be worth putting something forward like some picks.
Right. And the ceiling is way higher for Anthony Davis, but the floor is way lower.
Right.
That makes any sense. Like,
yeah, that's
you're gonna
kind
get
of
what you get out of Russ. Yeah, you're gonna get what you get out of Russ. Russ is gonna play like a dog the whole fucking time. A dog. Fucking dude, Stax' fucking impression of Seth or Pat McAfee is like fucking fantastic, dude. Dog. He's just dog. Who's the guy on there? Have you seen the dude who does impressions on there?
On
the Pat McAfee show? It's the main guy, the Packers fan, dude. I forget his name.
I haven't watched that in so long. Like I see clips every once in a while, but I'm just paying attention to what he's doing more than anything else. So honestly, I don't know.
I think I just he just started doing it recently, but he does really good impressions of like sports figures like Lou Holtz. Holy shit, dude. It's fucking great. And like Lou Holtz and then Romo was an impression I'd never seen before. That's really good. We'll have to watch some of them. We can't bring them up.
I'll have to. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
Send me some clips because I'm intrigued now. That sounds interesting.
He's really good at them for real. And you're like, oh, he's like the host guy. Like he's like the guy who like kind of regulates the conversation. The Packers fan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what shoot you're talking about.
Yeah, he's funny, dude. But anyway, sorry.
Man, but like I said, chemistry is going to matter so much for the Lakers because they made a couple of moves, not just the trade that got Westbrook out, but if I remember correctly, they made one more. And moved off of somebody else.
Well, Kendrick Nunn. They made a couple of days.
No, the Mo Bamba
on the deadline.
There was one that was this afternoon. They got Mo Bamba.
Who the Lakers did?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Hold on, let me look at this.
Because
I swear to God, I saw this earlier. And somebody, if you're watching in the comments, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Help me out.
Yeah, Lakers trade Patrick Beverley for 2 Magic for Mo Bamba.
Yep.
So I'm breaking the news to myself, I guess. They traded Thomas Bryant too. So they're basically replacing Thomas Bryant, their starting center, with Mo Bamba, who's ton of potential guy.
That's a good that's a good upside move. I like that.
It makes them younger for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Bryant's actually a little bit older for the NBA. I think he's like 20. He's still incredibly young, but like he's like 26 or something like that, which is a dinosaur, which is a fucking dinosaur in the NBA. God damn, they're moving off 23-year-olds like, wow, we don't know how much longer he's gonna last. It's kind of like got a lot of minutes on the knees. It's like, Jesus, he's 23. Like, yeah, I mean, that is a good trade. I was thinking Bull when you said the Magic at first. I was like, what now? Because we get Bull, that'd be a huge. But I think they would probably take more than Patrick Beverley would take.
I would think you would be losing AD for Bull.
Yeah, at this point, and some picks probably.
There goes that 2029 pick.
Right? Yeah, like, do you think that Bull got looked over because his dad was a big time guy, and then his dad had a bunch of hype. I think they're from Nigeria, and like
same name, wasn't it?
Manute Bol was his dad's name.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right,
yeah, 7'6", 7'6", fucking look like a spider out there, like all of his
big dude, long ass reach,
pointy ass, all of his pointy ass joints just hitting people and shit. Like
he was thin, dude. Like
he looked like a tree. He looked like Groot, like just fucking out there, fucking. He did, dude. Just all this. Can you imagine getting elbowed by that guy? Like his elbows probably cut some people. Like those bones are it's just a skeleton running around out there, basically.
He was, yeah. But
his femur was like 3.5 feet long. Like we think this was of a mastodon, but I think this is a mastodon front four. They're like, no, that's a human femur.
What? Oh my God.
So why was his name? I want to figure out why his name is Bull though, because like if it's Manute Bol, I think the Manute Bol means like the chosen one. Manute means like the chosen one or something. The chosen, and then Bol is one. So like, I think his son's name is one of one. Not joking. I think that's what it means in Nigerian. Yeah, I read something about that. I was like,
that would make sense. Yeah.
They didn't say that though. They were like, oh, Bull. They just mentioned his name. I was like, what the fuck does Bull mean then? If you're telling me what Manute Bol means, like, what is? I think it means son of the chosen one or something like that. Like some kind of craziness. But that was when you could still name your kid after gods and stuff.
You can't do that anymore.
Can't do that. Let's get some the PR police or whatever the fuck they call them.
PC police.
Peace. There you go. Whatever.
Cancel culture.
All the Karens.
Oh,
all the Karens out there. I can't say that used to be how it was. No, it's terrible.
It's terrible. But no, that was. I think the Lakers got better. I think that if they can find chemistry, that's a playoff team. I think that's a Western Conference Finals ceiling.
For sure.
Like I could foresee Phoenix and LA in the Western Conference Final. Could you imagine? That would be the greatest 7 games in the history of basketball. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know that fucking KD, with all the great things I can say about KD, I'm a huge KD fan. Kind of shrinks to not. He doesn't shrink in the playoffs because that's definitely not true. But he definitely kind of almost the equivalent of like playing to your competition, sort of like he won't take over games that they should win, like series that they should win. He won't take over them. But like when it's prime dime NBA finals, the dude's nails. But like
I don't know, because I think what the situation you're going to see with KD and the Suns, and because I've been thinking about this all day, and because like I saw that come through last night, and I was fucking excited because I think that this is first of all, this is a great pickup for the Suns. As long as when he comes back after the break, he stays healthy, this puts the Suns in a chance because he's not the one, he's not the 2. KD is
definitely
the 3.
The one.
No,
he's definitely the one in Phoenix.
No, because he's
the one in Phoenix.
No, And that's going to stay Devin Booker and CP3
Tony,
at the 1 and 2. I guarantee it.
Okay, so definitely get CP3 the fuck out of there. Get CP3. DeAndre Ayton is a better option on that team than CP3. So like, let's not even put I'll take the Devin Booker argument. Okay, that's the only argument. Is like who's one, Durant or Booker? That's the argument.
It's going to be Devin Booker,
and
there's no way that Devin Booker is not the one. And I put CP3 as the 2 out of respect, but realistically at that point at the 2, you're looking at either Ayton or KD, but realistically definitely probably KD, and then Ayton at the 3, CP3 at the 4, and you're probably going to have Torrey Craig as your starting 5.
What happened to Bridges got traded?
Bridges and Johnson both got traded. Cam Payne will be your 6th man.
Cameron Payne, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, he'll be your 6th man.
Man, dude, they gave up a lot. Like I was thinking about that. I was like, Cam Johnson and other dude are really solid pieces for them. Like they're in their rotation. They are solid pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like they actually fit with that team really well. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Mikal Bridges, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. They just fit really well.
They did. And honestly, like as I was looking in Phoenix Suns groups today that I'm in, like the general consensus was definitely, Mikal Bridges. I think he is great for this team. Fans love him. And he's a great player. I think the Nets get better with him on their team. And also I feel the same about Cam Johnson. Those are both 2 very talented guys. And I think that even though the Nets lose KD and Kyrie, you have 2 great guys that already have chemistry that can help establish the chemistry in a completely new room and just keep something going and try to make some noise in the East.
For pieces that Brooklyn could have got back, Brooklyn gave up, obviously. I mean, they lost Kyrie.
They absolutely did. Yeah.
Let's jump ship. And it's a good idea, honestly. And they actually got 2 really good pieces back for that. Mm-hmm. Like they probably could have, they probably got all of they could have asked for.
Pieces.
Young, yes. They got younger. They got way less experienced. But hypothetically, though, this Booker KD 1 thing, I have a hypothetical question for you. NBA Finals Game 7, 3 seconds left, guy coming off of a screen, takes a shot for you, and you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant not 100% healthy, whatever, right now. Who's taking the last shot?
One other question. Has KD gotten a manicure?
KD's in perfect playing shape. He's got a manicure. Well, no. He's been playing all day, all week at the Y. He's been playing all week at the Y. You don't put any pressure on him, which is something I want to talk to you about here in a second. You haven't put any pressure on him. He just gets to go out and ball. He doesn't have to deal with any of that fucking politics shit. Like nobody even talks to him, basically. All he does is go out and just fucking drop buckets all day long. You have him in that kind of mindset. And they both have like 32. They're both shooting really well. It's literally almost equal. And who's taking the shot? KD got a pedicure or a manicure.
KD's got a pedicure. Both.
Or both.
Just to make sure he's not over the line.
Probably hasn't showered in a week, but he's got a pedicure and a manicure. Hey, he's just balls, bro. He just balls. Seriously. You don't care about that in that shower shit.
Honestly, here's the thing that I would say. It could be either plan. What I will say is this: whoever has the better shot, and that's what it's going to come down to. Because I think that's
yes. Cop out.
Yes, no. That's what it is.
No, saying you have to pick one. You have 3 seconds left. So one of the guys has to get it inbound, and he has to take a shot. I don't care if it's off a screen or off the dribble. Doesn't matter.
Devin Booker.
Good God, man! I think you're lying to yourself. I think
KD wants to step into that backup role. I don't think KD wants it. And it's not to disrespect KD and say he can't do it, because I think everybody fucking knows he can. What I'm saying is KD has just spent 3 years dealing with fucking Kyrie Irving and James fucking Harden.
And now he wants
to just be in the culture, let Monty coach, let these guys go, and elevate this team to get a ring.
When's the last time that happened, Tony? When Kevin Durant just stepped back and said, you know what? Had a lot of drama in my life in Oklahoma City. Really wish I could find somewhere to go that would like that would take all the pressure off me. There's a player on the team who can be a number one also, and they're loaded, and I don't have to deal with any of the politics. I just get to play basketball. You remember that when that was? About 2017, I believe. Yeah, somewhere in that area. He just won fucking back-to-back chips, dropping fucking just nasty. Like, I will rock your body with nasty hooks. Like, just
dude, this is what I'm telling you. It's the perfect fucking scenario. I'm super fucking jealous that Stacks gets to go to that fucking Mavs game. I am super fucking jealous about that, man. Yeah. I might buy tickets. I'm strongly considering buying tickets to that game because I haven't been to a Suns game yet this year, and I'm getting a huge bonus. And I fucking earned that goddamn bonus. Worked my ass off last month, so I think I might put money on tickets. I'm strongly considering it.
This would be a hell. I mean, especially if Luka plays and Kyrie, right? You said it was Dallas and Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be what, the 14th or something, or it'd be day after, so 15th.
It's the 31st. It's March 31st.
It's way down the line. Okay, I thought it was recent.
Yeah, like, so, and that's the thing is, so you should have KD back healthy in the groove with how Phoenix does things in that 2 role, and then you're going to have on the other side Luka and Kyrie. That is going to be a high scoring game.
That's going to be an intense game.
They could set the over at 140, the line at 145 for the score, and I'm still taking the over. Or
I'd be like 290. 290. I'd go. I mean, that's honestly, like, I've seen some up there in the 290 areas.
And that's the thing is, like, this could be one of those one of the high scoring game of the seasons. But like 250, like, realistically, that's a 250 to 275 game.
290 is what I was going to say. I'd be like 140, 140. But yeah, that's going to be a good one.
That's the thing, though. Are we going to see any defense? We're not. Is at that point, is that close enough to the playoffs that we're going to start seeing defense? Do you think they could be playing for seeding at that point? Like,
we're already seeing defense.
What are the implications of that game going to be? Because that's near the end of the season, so that's potential playoff seeding game.
Most likely, both teams will be pretty solidified in their. I mean, yeah, there might be some jockeying to who plays who, but like at that point, there's only going to be 8 teams in the actual playoffs on your side. I mean, you're gonna have to go through everybody if you're gonna win a fucking title anyway. So like, why, just right. if it's got to start out at the beginning, like it's got to start out. Like, you can have an easy road, but it's never easy. It's not gonna be easy regardless. So
the West is such a mess this year, and I think it's like in the best way, because you don't know who you're gonna see come out of that fucking fray and going into the finals. Like, you don't know.
Right. LA is 13th in the West, and they are 4.5 games out of being 4th in the West. Think about that for a second. 4.5 games is all that separates 13 and 4. Like, that's nothing. Like, those guys are all like a NASCAR race. They're all just fucking huddled up right in the middle, all fucking fender to fender. Yeah.
And they're 4 games back from 500?
I think they're more than that. They're like 6. I want to say they're 23 and 29 or something like that.
Shit.
So yeah, dude. So everyone's just beating the shit out of everybody else, basically, is what it is. Like, they're all just like really even. Like the Lakers are not,
Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of implications. I legitimately think I'm going to be looking at those tickets, because that may be my birthday present to myself, man. Because that's a perfect game to go to.
That would be a really good one. Just the storyline, period.
Now all I'm gonna need is some new shoes to hit my game up. I think, because that's the perfect opportunity.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
got you. I'm vetting them. It's in the vetting process. You know, dude,
vetting process.
I've ordered 2 pairs of shoes from eBay that have gotten sent to authentication. They have to authenticate them before that they're really real, because there's so many fakes, and they got sent back to the buyer or the seller for not being real.
What?
That the first time I tried to buy those fucking Stewie Griffins, the LeBron 12 Stewie Griffin or whatever, they sent them to the thing, and they were like, no, those aren't real. They were literally just like, somebody had redone them. Fucking things looked exactly like them. They're just probably cheaply made. Yeah, so they're putting decals and shit on them and fucking selling them for, they're buying them for like $30 at fucking Payless, and they're putting the decals and everything, and then stitching the shit on them, and then fucking selling them for like $160. And two of them have been sent back. So yeah, you have to like get them from like people that it's usually like the dudes that just like are selling their collection, because they collect Jordans and shit, and they're like, "Fuck, I have too many of these." They're like, "Fuck, I have too many of these things." Like, let's get rid of some of the ones that are the obscure ones that they bought on a whim. It's kind of like you buying fucking Funko Pops, or me buying baseball cards.
There's a pretty good chance I'm going to be buying some Funkos next week. I'm
They're
just
awesome.
looking at my fat bonus check that I worked my ass off for, and I'm just like, I should be responsible with some of this, and I'm going to. I'm actually getting a couple things caught up, like a good boy. Gonna pay my taxes. Get my taxes.
Spend some on yourself though.
But yeah, I'm gonna buy some stupid shit.
Absolutely. I got a cart on Best Buy.
One of them.
I got a cart on Best Buy right now that is just begging to get bought. It's sitting there going, "Oh, you can lease me. And I'm like, damn it. $3,000 later. Got a fucking couple of drones and shit in there, some pointless stuff. But we're going to just one drone. But we're going to Comic-Con in Dallas coming up here in like June or something, or April. That is a Chevy Chase fucking. Got this at dollar store, dude. Isn't
awesome? That's legit. Okay.
Christmas Vacation, and it's a solar bobblehead, so he's always doing that.
Right.
And I'm gonna have Chevy Chase sign it because I'm gonna meet Chevy Chase.
That's pretty legit.
At Dallas Comic-Con, yeah. John Bernthal's gonna be there. I'm gonna punch him in the nose and see if I can fix it. You know who John Bernthal is?
No, who's that?
The guy who played the Punisher on Netflix. He's Shane from Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wolf of Wall Street. He's the loot dealer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that guy's gonna be there.
Okay.
That guy's cool as fuck. Apparently a bunch of Office members from the show the Office.
They always con really well, from what I understand. A lot of people say good things about those guys, so that's good.
I've never been to one before.
I've never I had a hard time getting into The Office. Like, I can go back now and watch episodes, like, and it's like it's okay, but I was never really one of those people that was really big into The Office. But I respect what it did for the genre, so it is what it is.
I always gave it like a downgrade because it was Ricky Gervais's show that we just like copied into American, and Steve Carell just like took Ricky Gervais's face, or like his character and everything, just took it.
Yeah.
And Ricky Gervais will mention that periodically. He's actually not mad about it. He just thinks it's hilarious. Like that everyone thinks like, oh yeah, Steve Carell wrote The Office for sure. No. Nope. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So so with this though, with the move for KD, what do you think this does as far as the Suns' chances of making it, we'll say, to the Western Conference Finals?
Like I was kind of saying earlier, it's such a perfect situation for KD because he doesn't want any of that fucking smoke, dude. He doesn't want any of that fucking bullshit. He doesn't care about anything except for being good at basketball. Okay. Like literally that dude don't give a shit about nothing else. And so if you start throwing like, oh, hey KD, why isn't Kyrie playing right now? He's like, fucking, I don't care. And like, he just wants to go, I don't fucking care if Kyrie is playing, is what he wants to say. But he can't. So he just sits there, like, oh, yeah, like what the fuck ever. And it probably grinds him down, dude, every day of that shit. Just fucking, what's going on with this and that? Yeah.
And that's why I don't blame KD for wanting out of there. Like, as much as I get, hey, bro, you signed a 4-year contract. Like, I get the argument on that, and I can entertain that. But the truth of the matter was, I think he signed that contract thinking that things were getting ready to change. And clearly they didn't.
Right.
Kyrie got worse, if you will. Like, it fucking snowballed. And so I don't blame him for wanting a change. Like, there's always going to be people that are going to say that this taints his legacy. I disagree. I already think he's one of the fucking greatest basketball players in the history of the game. I don't think it taints his legacy one bit. I'm not putting him. I would never consider him a top 5 anyway. But like, he's top 10. Yeah. It's. I don't think there's going to be really anything major. Like, yeah, he gets a Finals MVP with another team. Maybe takes Phoenix back-to-back again. Like he did in Golden State. Like, obviously, then at that point we have to have a different conversation. But at this point, I think where he's at is probably where he's going to be. And I hope that takes a lot of pressure off of him, and he can just fucking ball and give everybody a fucking show. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want for the dude. It's got to be relaxing that he knows he's going into an environment where that's all he has to do now is just shut it out and hoop.
I mean, exactly. I mean, that's all he wants to do. I'm like, to his legacy, all it really does is just show us further, and he doesn't do anything to try and like not admit this, that he's not the rah guy. He's not going to be the dude who's like in there running team meetings and shit. Like, this dude is just showing up. He knows all the fucking plays, and he's better than you. Those are the only three things that you need to know about Kevin Durant. Like, he's gonna fucking drop buckets and not really open his mouth that much, and just let his fucking, he's not a leader, and we knew that. He's never fucking claimed to be. That's why it goes so much better with leaders already on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Paul
and you know, and that's the thing is, it's like it should have been pretty clear that these two going to Brooklyn was a bad idea. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at the situations, both KD and Kyrie proved they couldn't be that leader, that they were just supposed to be that guy that's the star 2 or the star 3, whatever, that just hoops. And, you know, sometimes the cameras come talk to him because of the fact that he had a 35-point game and made a difference. And he's just like, oh, yeah, I just played basketball. I like basketball. Right. And they're like, all right, thanks, KD. And that's it. Like, that's the perfect role for him. And there's nothing wrong with that because he's really fucking good at it. Right.
But and he can be a 1. He is a 1. He's a 1. I think he's the 1 on the Phoenix Suns right now. I don't think that, honestly, I know that you're a Devin Booker fan, but Devin Booker has shown me nothing. He's a number 1 on that team right now. But if you take a guy the caliber of KD and insert him into that lineup, I think he becomes the number 2. I think he becomes the best number 2 in basketball. But
I think you destroy the chemistry of that offense if he's the number 1. I'm sorry, but that offense works the best with Devin Booker as the 1. And it's been proven. That's why CP3, even when he was doing really well, it was still Devin Booker was the 1.
Right. And I think they'll keep it that way. Don't get me wrong. I think that they're going to keep it that way for the most part. But like I said, like hypothetically though, somebody's going to take the last shot. I don't know who you pick. I wouldn't just definitively go with Devin Booker. I think that you have to definitely consider he's clutch, dude. Kevin Durant's clutch.
And that's why I said, I think that's why I legitimately believe it comes down to who has the better shot.
I'll take,
because I legitimately believe that because if Devin Booker's in a spot, you know, and it's a spot where he's literally been cooking from all night, and KD's not, why wouldn't it go to Devin when you know you're going to get you're more certain you're going to get the bucket, and vice versa. Like in that opposite situation, it should be fucking clear. Give KD the goddamn ball. Like I don't have any hesitation for that feeling at all. So that's why I think it comes down to who has the better shot.
Right, but you know what I'm trying to cornerhole you into is that you have to pick one because one of them you have to pick. You have control over it for some godforsaken reason. You have control over who the ball goes to, and you're saying Devin Booker.
Absolutely, because he's the face of the franchise.
I'll put it this way: Devin Booker in a game 2 of a division finals or a Western Conference Finals, game 2 when they're up 1-0 or something, he could take the last shot in that game 2. Game 7 NBA Finals, and I have 1 shot left, 2.1 seconds left. Kevin Durant's taking that fucking shot all motherfucking day. That'd be the first one, big, huge shot that Devin Booker's ever taken. Basically. Right?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because especially when you look at that roster, DA's made some huge shots, including in the playoffs and in perfect situations. Like, you can't. So I respect KD, but based on the situation and what he's been going through, I'm telling you, I feel like he wants to be the 2 or the 3. Like, you know what? Let DA be 2. I just want to be the 3. But, you know, most of us, realistically, he's the 2. But I legitimately don't think KD wants to be in that leadership role because he's realized he doesn't want it. He wants to hoop. When he went to Brooklyn, he was like, I kind of don't want to be a leader there. And Kyrie was like, come on, bro. And so he went and he realized his mistake.
Yeah, he didn't. He had to have known that he was going to have to be the guy there. Like, did you really trust Kyrie when Kyrie was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'll handle all that political stuff"? Like, he didn't mean in that way. Kyrie didn't mean handle.
He knew what he was getting into when he went to Brooklyn, but I think I don't think he really wanted to do what he had to do there. And I think that was one of the reasons why there was such a disconnect between him and the organization, was because he didn't want to be that leader.
No. And Kyrie probably thought he was making it easier on him. Like, hey, man, I'm taking the attention away from taking the attention away from you, man. Nobody's even paying attention. That's not it doesn't work that way. They still ask me about it, you dumbass. They ask me about it every day. They ask me like I talked to you last night about, like, we talked in depth detail about your fucking, you hating Jews. Like that, like I knew, like I had the inside track to you hating Jews, dude. Like, stop doing weird stuff. Did you just fucking play? Get the shot, you idiot. Just get the shot. This is fucking stupid. They ask me every day.
Shoot the damn ball?
They had to felt like that too.
Kyrie Irving, as much as we say athletes are people too, Kyrie Irving definitely pushes the envelope of wanting to send shots.
Right. That's the only guy I've ever wanted to be like, God damn it, Kyrie, just shut up and dribble. That's the only thing I've ever wanted.
I hate that sentiment, but it's like sometimes, Kyrie is just like or Kurt Schilling. Like, dude, I understand you have your beliefs. Would you just shut up and pitch? Like, go pitch for the Savannah Bananas, or go analyze the baseball game. We don't need you to analyze the political situation. Just shut the fuck up.
Wear a fucking bloody sock the whole time if you want to, you fucking weirdo. Just get it fucking done, okay?
Like, just go between takes. Just please, for the love of God, stop talking.
Whatever you'll do, we'll just record it. You'll be a freak show amongst yourself there at the fucking Savannah Banana games. Like, your bloody sock, Kurt. Like, that's your moment, Kurt.
I still love that Papelbon pitched an inning for the Bananas in a kilt with his World Series trophy behind the mound. That fucking was beautiful. Some legendary shit. Or
you said it was Kimbrell, right?
No, it was Papelbon.
Papelbon, that's who it was. Okay.
And then Bill Lee came out of the stands with a beer in his hand and pitched an inning. I guess he's done that a couple of times.
Still striking people out, probably.
Yeah, he was too.
Nasty.
I'm sad so they had such an interest in the Savannah Banana tickets. They ended up doing everything on a lottery, and I didn't get drawn, so I can't go. Another reason I might go to that goddamn, because that same day of that Suns game, the Bananas play in Scottsdale.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
cheaper
this weekend probably not though, because that stadium, it's a full-size stadium that they're going to be playing in, or it's a full-size spring stadium, so 6-7K,
right? Just the back bleachers pretty much, and then yeah.
And it's a good size field. It's a full-size field.
The only Major League Baseball fields Michael Jordan ever played in, those kind.
Yes. Damn.
Yeah.
The only Major League fields that Garth Brooks ever played in.
Yes. And yes.
Oh God, I remember that.
Kyler Murray. The only ones that Kyler Murray ever play in. Those little ones without outfield stands. It's when you know you've made it, Michael. This is when you get the ones without. Riding the bus.
Riding the bus. No, but I think that it's a good move for Phoenix. I think that they can go deep, and I respect what you say about it being about leaning towards KD, and I get it, but I stand by what I said. Because I think the reason for that comes down to the way that Monty leads that team. It is never just about Devin Booker and Chris Paul or Devin Booker and DA. Those other guys get their opportunities and put up points too. DeAndre Ayton just had a 30-point game the other night. Like those kids, like they spread it around. It's like Kansas City on offense almost. And I think it's one of the things that I like about it. And so I think that you're going to see nights where KD drops 35 and you're going to see nights where KD drops 20 because Devin Booker drops 40 piece, like it's going to happen because that's the way that Monty runs the team.
Obviously the advantage is to Kevin Durant just wanting to ball, as we've mentioned many times. he's fucking really good at it. And he can adjust to any kind of offense. He fucking back picks. He fucking cuts to the basket. He screens. The guy knows exactly what the fuck he is doing within the style of any offense. He's adaptable, clearly.
Yeah.
He went to Golden State, and that's exactly what happened, Tony. He just started just when they need him to score, he'll score. And then when they need him to just be out there and be a decoy, he's a decoy. And that's about 75% of the time. Is he's just like draws double teams and gets people open shots. And that's obviously what makes their offense better. But he makes correct passes. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's one of the greatest he might be the single greatest offensive player that's ever played in the NBA. And that's fair all around. If you're going to go scoring, I mean, obviously I would say LeBron, but like he's right there. And that's just offensively completely. I mean, like just the whole side of the offensive side, just because of how multifaceted they are.
And that's the thing he's a very special player. And I'm happy that because he's closer, I'm going to get to see more action out of him and watch it more. And now that KD is down in Phoenix, we're going to get to see them talk about the Suns on Undisputed a little more often. Which they were already starting to come up a little bit because of Devin Booker, because I know that Shannon Sharp loves Devin Booker.
Well, you should. And I'm not saying that Devin Booker's a bad, because I don't think there's pick another guy that you would rather have take a last shot though, other than Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? So like he might be like one of the third or fourth best guy to take it. You just have one on your team that might, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not anything against Devin Booker because I love Devin Booker.
No,
I think he's a fucking great player. But
he's a stud. And DeAndre Ayton, yes, he's kind of a temperamental player, but when you need him, he's there. And I think that with the appearance of KD will put a spark in that team. And I think we're going to see Phoenix hit back hard once KD takes the court, because that's some new energy, man. You can't tell me just that you're not already going to see the Suns playing harder and more aggressive with a new spark, just with the knowledge that he's coming. Like, you're going to see the Suns look better in the next month than they've looked this season.
That move made them the title favorite.
Overnight,
to me,
those odds changed overnight. I was looking at it this morning.
Yeah, because it's they're probably in first now, and then Boston's in second, because I think Boston's been in the number one most of the time. They're just waiting for Jason Tatum because they know Jason Tatum's going to get one, and it's just when is he going to get it? Like, when's it going to kind of work out? You know what I'm saying, for him to get a title, because he's going to get one. There's no doubt about it. Maybe it's just one or two, but still.
And I think you're right, but I don't think it's off. If Phoenix finds the right groove, we could see it's not out of question that we see a Suns Celtics finals.
It's actually probably likely that that's what it's going to be. I mean,
right.
Dallas is interesting because of who else they got in those deals too. They got, God damn it, of course I'm not going to think of his fucking name. Dallas did another deal. And I remember looking at it and being like, God damn, okay, they're deep, dude. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. is a fucking
for sure
great shooter. They just didn't have anybody to dribble penetrate other than Luka, and Luka just does that weird shit like where he's not in a hurry ever, and so there's no like pace. They were last in the NBA in pace of play. I think they have been like basically the entire year. They've been like 30th to 32nd because Luka's just that like slow it down, And Kyrie is going to actually add some pace to that. They need something to even it out. They're running a little fucking rich right now.
Right. I feel like the thing with the Dallas is going to be killer is you didn't do much on D. And when you get into the playoffs, defense matters. Phoenix beefed up their playoff D, because in the playoffs, Kevin Durant, when he's healthy, is a fucking ball hog.
Durant?
But yeah, he's an amazing playoff defense.
Right.
But the Dallas, who on that roster is really going to step up when that time comes and actually be a good defender? Because you're going to get what you get out of Luka and probably a little bit out of Kyrie as well. But who else?
Well,
where is your defense going to come from out of that team?
You're kind of forgetting that they're actually kind of built defensively other than that. Like Dwight Powell is a really good defender. Tim Hardaway Jr. is actually a really good perimeter defender. Okay, so like I think they get I think they get a lot of shit for being a bad defensive team because Luka's bad defensively. You know what I'm saying? Which if you have one out of your 5 guys is shitty on defense, that's going to make your defense significantly worse, right? Because that's 1/5. That's 20% of your defense is not very good, so it's not going to be as good, right? But Dwight Powell, I'm trying to think of some other guys. Like they have some good defenders, like athletes and stuff. They can probably match up. Who's the other one? Dorian Finney-Smith was on their team. I think he got traded. I think.
Yeah, he got traded
in that deal. And that deal was right
in that deal.
So they lost some defense because he was a good defender.
Exactly.
So maybe they're just going to try and fucking shoot at everybody because that's what their games are anyway. And maybe Mark Cuban just doubled down on it. Was like, all right, let's go get some more fucking firepower. Then if we're going to have to shoot it out, which is not a bad idea.
No, I mean, you if you fight fire with fire, that's one way to make sure that the forest won't burn down again.
As we all know, though, in the NBA and the playoffs, it comes down to people getting fucking stops. Like just one-on-one long possessions. They're going to take all 24 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's going to be a one last shot and a guy playing defense. That one little hip check that you can fucking, sneak in there and not get called for. Maybe a guy just come out and beat somebody up for fucking 2 quarters. You know what I'm saying? Like just foul him every time he touches the ball. Like there's guys who do that too and just come out of the game and don't do shit else. That was my job. Foul out of every game. Just go beat the shit out of their best player. Just go bother him. Hit him in the nuts a couple times. Pull his pants down. Talk shit to him. Try and find, if you can, the best thing to do is to find their girlfriend or their mother in the crowd before the game. And then regularly talk to said girlfriend and mother while you're guarding them is the best thing to do. They usually like that a lot. That's always the fun one. You just yell at them from the court. Get their name if you can. It's an extra little touch.
That's the Kobe mentality right there, buddy.
Nobody would ever. Oh yeah, I had that mama, except for I wasn't even good at basketball. I definitely had that mama mentality without the skill. Yeah, you got to get them in there. That's the only thing they all get mad at. They all get mad at it. Can't talk about the girlfriend or the mom. That's off limits.
That's so the line, man.
No, yeah, you push them over the line. There you go. See? Can't concentrate. Try to fuck my girlfriend. I don't even know who she is, you idiot. I saw you talking to her. You shouldn't have went and talked to her before the game, man. Don't show your weaknesses, bro. Jesus. I like that. I like that kind of mentality, though. You know who has that fucking killer? Russ Westbrook will fucking murder somebody. He'll murder you. Like they should not. If he had a weapon on the court, he probably murdered somebody already. Like he plays angry.
Let's speaking of weapons and basketball. Let's talk about this John Morant thing real quick. Have you seen more about this and what happened with this?
I haven't seen more about it, but I saw the initial. Yeah. What do you think? I'll let you go first because
I remember what it was like trying to come out of a bad situation. I know my situation is different than Jaws, and I'm not trying to say it's
apples and oranges,
right? But at some point, you got to be smart enough to leave that behind, because the longer you hold on to it, the easier it is for it to pull you back in. It takes willpower, and it's not easy for anybody, regardless of who's trying to get out of that. Whether it's going from that level to his level or that level to my level, and just being able to be on your own, have the power on, and know you got food in your stomach. It's hard to get out of that. But at the end of the day, you got to have your head far enough out of your ass to realize you don't do stupid shit like that. Ray Rice was damn lucky he was able to not lose everything for his situation. He was damn lucky.
Yeah.
And John, you do something like that, you're involved in something like that, even if you're just in the car, you will go down too, because some prosecutor will want to take your ass down. As an athlete, you become a bigger target.
And now you have all that money. You're a young black man with all that money. You know what I'm saying?
$200 million you're just fucking around with because you want to think you sound like a big tough guy taking shit that was said on the court, off the court. Like, are you fucking serious, bro?
Right. I think that's a team culture, I think, a little bit with them. I think that they're super defensive about anything that gets, like, which I like. I like it. I like that they're taking it very, very seriously because it is very serious. It is their profession. I understand that. And obviously I like when fucking athletes take fucking shit way too serious. But like don't be like, like you said, kind of like keep it on you don't have to keep it on the court, but people don't need to be getting fucking shot over the fucking Western Conference Finals. Do you know what I'm saying? Like nobody needs to be dying over fucking NBA games.
Or laser pointers, like whatever it was. Like it shouldn't have happened.
Just come on, guys. We're gonna just start playing dirty all the time now? Is that what's gonna God, you animals.
It's like completely negatively impacting his credibility. Just from jump. And I don't know why you would be that fucking stupid.
Because he's 23. And I was pretty fucking stupid at 23 and I didn't have $200 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'll give it to him on that on the other side. Like
that's a valid point, but somebody's got to, like, his dad got to slap his ass or something. Like somebody's got to get through to that kid or he's going to be in a bad way.
Like, Tony, why would you not just hire somebody? Like, this would be the most important hire of your entourage. Just hire a guy that makes all of your partying legal. Like he's basically just like rushing, like anybody like into a different room. And he's like, oh yeah, you're inside your own private residence now. Like he's just making sure that everything's legal around you, that you can't get DUI, fucking beat somebody up, pull a gun and brandish it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a guy that takes your keys at the front door, and also hands you like a shot of tequila or something like that. Like he needs to hire one of those guys that just makes sure everything around him is legal. Like we're not doing anything incredibly illegal, right? Like just kind of like just takes the gun away from me. He's like, no, not right now. We'll do this later, and like I'll be that guy, Joff, if you want me to. Like, hey, Joff, you know what? We can go shooting later. Just for right now, though, let's keep it out of the car, okay? We're not like seriously, just like a guy that just walks around and just makes sure everything's fucking on the up and up, which they do. But then that guy turns into fucking yes man of the century, and it's like, oh, this definitely isn't dangerous. Like what, it just becomes normal because they're probably doing it so much they just kind of fade into that, back into what you're talking about with that lifestyle. And I'm sure not only is it fucking addictive when you don't have that much money, but pump $200 million in the middle of that lifestyle and it becomes a fucking riot. I'm sure I'd fucking have a great time partying with Ja Rent, I'm sure, but like you can't do that on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like
So, but here's what's I think is going to be worse for Ja Morant. And this is my theory on this, because like I remember I was watching them talk about this on Undisputed, and they mentioned briefly about the fact that Shannon kind of took Ray Rice in while he was dealing with his situation. Ray Rice actually lived at Shannon Sharp's house in Baltimore,
really,
and took him in, and then they went, like he'd go to court and then they go train. Like he was kind of a mentor and a brother to him while he was getting his feet back from under him while dealing with that whole situation. And I think that's great. That was probably one of the best things that could have happened to Ray Rice, was that mentorship he got from Shannon Sharp. But who's going to do that for Ja Morant? Like, because I don't think there's really anybody on the Memphis Grizzlies team that's going to have that type of an ability.
No,
like,
no, especially possibly Steven Adams, but like, Steven Adams doesn't have, like, I don't think Steven Adams and Ja probably don't have a whole lot in common, if you know what I mean. They really probably don't. Like, I don't know if he can kind of, right. I don't know if he can kind of be that guy. I don't know the dynamic inside that locker room, but I think Dylan Brooks is kind of the same way. And I'm not accusing Dylan Brooks of anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I think Dylan Brooks, like, his demeanor wise, I think he's a dog, for one. And like, I think that he's like, they understand the level that they have to be at to be good in this league. And sometimes you'll use any tool that is at your discretion, including intimidation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to scare people out here. And like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like, Memphis, I see what you're doing. I got you. But like you can't take it outside of that. No, it's not. And it's like
it's street ball.
I mean, was he even like? That's what I'm saying. Like, who is he even trying? Because obviously, that's a lot about like him trying to get some kind of credibility with people or something like that, right? I mean, there has to be some kind of like group credibility or something to like, he's tough. Like, Joe, we get that you're tough, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to do some crazy shit. I don't know who's pushing him to do that. That's what you have to find, and you have to eliminate those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to eliminate those people who are kind of egging him on to like continue what he used to be doing, or maybe not used to be doing. Maybe this is new to him. I'm not exactly sure, but like it's probably not, right? So that whoever's trying to egg him into those kind of situations needs to be the one that needs to be found, and obviously, probably removed from the situation, because that's probably what's happening. He's just getting pressured into it, and he has all the money, and his friends are still his friends. You don't fucking get rid of your friends, they just didn't happen to be really good basketball players,
right? Because like his brother has been banned from Grizzlies games for a year, and I find that interesting because to ban a star player's family member from a games for a year, that shows that there was some significant action taken by that person to warrant something like that, especially since his brother goes to every single one of his games.
Right. Absolutely. And that makes me think that maybe these situations hadn't been happening a little bit before that, and it wasn't just a one-time thing.
Think about the fight that they got into with Shannon Sharp.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I thought it stemmed from, is his brother getting suspended or whatever. I think that's what it stemmed from, right? But like it almost seems like for
suspended because of the situation with John Morant in the Pacers.
Oh, so like a newer one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
okay.
That with them intimidating the Pacers after the game, and there was apparently a gun or laser pointer pointed at Pacers players.
Gotcha. So that's hey, I think we might have found where the encouragement off the court is coming from. Maybe.
I think you're right.
I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like that's fucked up though too, because how are you gonna say that you have to get rid of your brother in your life? You're not gonna be able to do that, probably, right? I mean,
sometimes you have to look at what Dane Cook had to deal with. His brother stole $10 million from him at least.
Jesus. Like he wasn't like pulling, he wasn't like pulling guns on people who didn't laugh at Dane Cook though either. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
so
that's. I mean, obviously there's some differences in the scenario, but Dane Cook still had to make that call, man. Like, and I feel bad for Ja, because it's obviously, like we've talked about it, when you have individuals that get to these points, like they've been enabled so much that they don't, nobody realizes it until it's too late that there's a problem with what's around them. It's
right.
It's the Deshaun Watson case, but different monsters, It all comes back to the same cause and effect. Somebody was getting enabled that were in too often when they should have just been told no. Yeah.
Getting kind of drug along, right? And those things don't happen immediately either. They happen in levels, slowly and slowly. There's gets more, the edges push further and further until it's obviously a situation where you're brandishing firearms in an NBA arena. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how to get there gradually and over a long period of time, and people being very ignorant to certain things they should be doing, basically, right? I didn't want to talk to you about something in the middle of that story, like obviously in the middle of most things in our society. People who, I don't believe that the term money is the root of all evil is a real thing. Okay. I think that it can be. And a perfect example of that is exactly what we're talking about right now, because nobody ever fucks their family over for the fun of it. Do you ever notice that? Nobody ever goes, oh yeah, I just stole $10 million from my brother because fuck it. Just wanted $10 million. It's because they wanted the fucking $10 million. So like, because you need it to survive, correct? Like you don't need $10 million to survive, but you get the point. Like,
right.
So I get where people come from when they say that money is the root of all evil, because that's all I ever hear. If a family member fucks another family member over like that, in any situation, almost always at the central of it, right in the middle of it, is what?
Enablers.
Money.
Yeah.
Usually, right? I mean, that's almost the only time.
But that's that's the thing though, is there is this unfortunate belief that there is so much power in money. And the truth of the matter is it's not where it is at all, because until you get to a really, really high level. But we can also be honest and understanding in today's world, $10 million doesn't mean what it used to be. There's literally millions of people with $10 million or more.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I could fucking spend $10 million and give me nine hours. I'll spend you $10 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like an incredibly large amount of money anymore. It's really not. I mean, there's things that cost $1 million, which is fucking unheard of, you know? But, yeah, so it's not though that much, but still that's a lot. Like, that's, if you invest that correctly, that's power for the rest of your life, but it's not power. Like you said, it's the illusion of power almost. It's like, you know, it's almost like
it's almost different like illusion of power.
Right. And it's like a license to look down on people naturally, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of, not saying that all rich people look down on people. What I'm saying is, like, it sets you up because you're kind of economically above them. It's even you're, you know, in quotations, to look down.
You get a different point of view. You get a different point of view of life from $10 million than you do from $10 in your bank account, because you dropped you put a 20 back in, so it looked like your bank account was positive.
Yes, you don't want to get them overdraft fees.
Yeah,
right at the old $1.62 level. Yeah, you're not down there, but you're not at 10. I mean, yeah, I just feel like it just causes people to just look down, and I don't know. It's
you know, there is a disadvantage to being lost in the pursuit of money, because I've been in positions where I made six figures a few different times, working in the music industry and just working a regular office job, working for a cable company of all places. And each time, like, things got like I was, my life was obviously different. I had more creature comforts. We cooked less and went out to eat more because we worked all day. We were exhausted. We didn't want to cook. Oh, hey,
right.
You know, it's $40 to go to Applebee's, and then we don't have to cook or do dishes.
So easy.
You know?
Yeah, so easy.
And that's also why I don't have six figures anymore. That's why I don't have any savings, is because I lived in the moment. And you know, I still got hungry. I still had to work. I still had to put my pants on one leg at a time.
Right.
I still had to tip my server. Like, nothing changed about my life, except for, you know, more sit-down restaurants, less dollar menus.
Right. And I think have you heard like Rogan and those guys talk about imposter syndrome? Mm-hmm. Like when they get money, it's either when somebody gets money or fame, that they literally doubt that it's actually real, because they don't see themselves. They never saw themselves being famous. So they literally think that almost people are acting. Like, it's an actual thing, apparently. Like, it's pretty much everybody goes through some stage of it when they become famous or rich. I guess that was what they're talking about. Like, a lot of money or a lot of fame or both. Obviously, they kind of come together sometimes. But yeah, they just like literally just don't believe. Like, Joe Rogan says that he doesn't believe that. He was like, it's like, I just thought everybody was kind of fucking with me. Like, it's like, you know, like, or I was just getting lucky. Like, people were just recognizing me. Like you basically try and doubt yourself to the point where you're like, okay, maybe I am actually really famous. It's just fucking crazy, because you don't ever think about doing that. It's like, oh, I'm just famous now. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, people like recognize, you know, it's almost like, I shouldn't be famous. And it's just a crazy thing that the human brain does, you know, like it's going to disprove it no matter what. And then it's like, oh, okay, I guess it's real. It's nuts.
Until it doesn't have a choice but to accept it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that makes sense. But I think that the truth is that imposter syndrome can happen at even lower levels. Cause like, I know what you're talking about. And yes, it does commonly affect people that become famous. But it happens on lower levels, because especially people with trauma, people with post-traumatic stress disorder, when they come out of a traumatic situation and get into a point where they actually have some stability and some positive mental environments, a lot of them take time even adjusting to that and feel uncomfortable with it, because they feel like it's fake, and you know, the what they've come from is going to come back up. There's they don't want to develop. They worry that they're developing a false sense of security, and so they put more of a guard up. And you know, it takes a long time for them to actually accept that they're not just people are acting, you know, or people that get promoted to a new position will often get imposter syndrome because they'll question if they deserve to be in that new role. And so it's go ahead.
It could be like just classes of like the people that you hang out with in your hometown or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just people that you know, groups of friends, even that simple of like a difference in just like this group of friends is this culture of lifestyle. And then, you know, it could just be whatever you believe it is. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like an economic step up. It could just be a huge change. Right. Yeah.
And like, is this real? Like, I go to karaoke and there are people that compliment me on some of the songs that I do. And it happened when I used to be up in St. Joe up at Cafe. And so it was hard for me to accept that there are people that legitimately like it when I sing. It was hard for me to accept that there are legitimately people that like my comedy and want me to get back on stage.
Do you think it's because of like you feel pressure? Like, do you feel so if you weren't any good, you wouldn't feel any pressure to continually do well to you know, enhance people's experience, right? Do you think that's part of it? Like, you're basically like you feel like if they tell you that you're good, now there's expectations, right? There's expectations that you're supposed to be kind of good when you sing all the time, and that's pressure. And then your mind knows that that's going to be pressure, and maybe that's partly why it is like, no, I'm not that good. It's trying to almost humble itself.
Well, it's for me, it's like I always hold myself to the highest standard. Like, if I'm doing a Jason Aldean song, like one of my favorite songs to do for karaoke is Dirt Road Anthem. If I'm not doing it to the point where you get the enjoyment out of it that Jason Aldean does, because I know I don't sound exactly like Jason Aldean when I sing or when I rap. But I want people to enjoy the song like they do when that person's doing it. And so if I don't feel like I'm hitting that level, I second guess everything. Now, I know for a fact that the song I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan, when I do that at karaoke, I fucking know I'm good at that song. I have accepted that because I've heard myself do it enough times and seen enough videos where it's like, all right, I can do this one. Now, the other songs is a different story. Like that's, I know that if I have that option and it's like, hey, you got to do one karaoke song. If you do it well, you're going to be a famous podcaster. Let's fucking go. Give me that song. I'm in, and no question. But I question anything else, or you know, when I'm hosting, if I'm doing a good job, and there are people that keep telling me, "Yeah, you're doing a great job," and I wonder if I'm actually doing like in entertaining people, because when people go to karaoke, they want to be entertained, and my goal as the host is to do that. So and the DJ, if you will, you know,
so that's your go-to song then.
Yeah, that's I'll Make a Man Out of You. And originally for the movie Mulan, by the way, it was sung by Donny Osmond.
Nice. Makes sense. You kind of look like Donny Osmond. Like that would have been, you know, Donny Osmond 30 years ago. he's got to be in his 60s, right? Yeah.
I think he is. Yeah.
He's got to be in his 60s.
Late 50s, early 60s, I would think.
I don't do karaoke very often, but you know what my go-to song is when I do it?
What is it?
Pearl Jam Last Kiss. Not a joke. I like to depress everybody in the crowd by singing about a car crash.
That does not surprise me.
Great song.
You know,
cover.
I mean, you know, one of the most common songs that women do at karaoke now, Before He Cheats, like that's a song about a guy that's on a date and his other chick is destroying his truck in the bar parking lot. Like, really, I don't want to be thinking about possible drama at the bar on a Friday night. Like, I just want to think about the bartender's titties. Like, come on now. If
you do that song you're talking, what's it called? I've dug my key into that one.
Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood.
There you go. If you're doing that song and you're a woman at a bar, you are you're kind of fanning the flames as far as like the bar general attitude goes towards fighting and smashing people's tires with stuff, you're just kind of egging it on. So maybe don't pick a different one, depress them a little bit maybe, because everyone's super wanting to fight already, bro. You start throwing in Carrie Underwood and they're all pissed off, then it's a riot. Don't want to get people fucking pumped up.
Adele, hello. You want to use those power vocals? Let me hear some Hello by Adele. That's the song that I can hear once a night at karaoke. I'm okay with that. I
used to cover Ironic by Alanis Morissette, and it was
that's another good one that if somebody does it right, it's a good song at karaoke.
That's when do you know Terry Musser?
Yeah.
Terry used to have karaoke. I think you did the audio for that a lot, didn't you? Did you ever run the sound?
No.
Okay. Not even later. That might have been after you moved.
Was that at
Cafe or Unplugged? Yeah, I think it was Cafe at the time. It was pretty early. When I was working at 54th Street early. 2000
must have been after
15 area, probably. It's probably after you left.
Okay, so that would have been. Would that have been when they were in the little building where Unplugged is?
Yeah. It was in the little building. Yep.
Okay, so then that was before I worked for them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you never did sound in this moment. Yeah, you did, because you were learning though.
I started with them a month before they moved down.
Okay, so a little bit. That's weird that I remember that you doing it in the fucking little place. But yeah, Terry used to do karaoke, and he would just people would just come up and be like, "Hey, do you know this?" And he would just play it on guitar, and they would sing, because he just knew he would just figure it out. He'd just be like, "Yeah, I can figure it out," blah blah. And he was very adaptable like that. And
they had a live band karaoke at Unplugged there for a minute too. I saw. It looked
really
interesting. Yeah,
that
they
is
did
interesting.
some stuff. I don't know how long that lasted, but I think that would be cool to do one time. I've never done something with a live band, so that would be fun.
It would, because it's not that hard to. It wouldn't sound exactly like it, but it would,
Yeah.
It would be close enough.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we are going to talk about Brett Favre challenging Shannon Sharp. And
dick pics.
I am so excited to watch Brett Favre get embarrassed.
Yes.
We'll be back right here on Sports Report After Dark. Wrap up your Monday with some laughs. Make sure to join Will, Seven, Dan the Dick Warner, and Josie as they dive into the hottest topics of the week across sports, including baseball, basketball, and the NFL. You can catch the episode live Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss the Sports Report Podcast. Put the kids to bed, put on your shades, and crack open a cold one during Sports Report After Dark with Seven and Dan the Dick Warner. You can catch After Dark Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and again Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. We believe that athletes are people too, and Skip Bayless is one of the lizard people. Don't miss Sports Report After Dark. Don't miss Fight Night. Every Tuesday night, Will Morgan and Josie Haney break down the hottest topics of the week across combat sports, including UFC, boxing, WWE, AEW, and more. Past episodes are available on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and each episode will air again Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss Fight Night. Tune in or tap out. It's time for more dick, more snacks, and more basketball talk on the hardwood. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can catch them live on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast. Join them as they break down the hottest topics of the week in the NBA, along with the age-old argument on LeBron versus Jordan. This ain't one of Shaq's free throws. Don't miss it. That thing lasts so long.
Doom, 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 doom. So just went outside. I had to tell you this. I was gonna pull a no, I'm just kidding. But went outside, had an extension cord plugged in from working outside the other day, right? Just urinating outside my back door, thinking that extension cord's still plugged in, right? And it's all curled up right here where I'm peeing at. That's interesting. Might want to unplug that. So I just went ahead and unplugged it because that could have been really fucking bad.
Yeah. It would have been a shocking experience if you learned that it was.
It really would have been electric. It really would have been electric. You think it's possible to pee in the end of an extension cord? And
I mean, you try it. And let me know. Let's learn about it for science. Let's see what happens.
You have to be directly in there, real close to. Keep the stream steady. Don't cross them. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh God. So it was announced today that Brett Favre is suing Shannon Sharp, Pat McAfee, and a Mississippi state auditor for defamation for claims regarding the money that he was paid from the Mississippi food stamps fund for speeches that he never gave. If
you're
what?
Yeah, like that. What a fucking court hearing, huh? Like if that's a star-studded court hearing. Like, who's going to that? Who's your date? You know.
I mean, what are you wearing? Like, is there a red carpet for this thing? Like, how do I get on the list? Do
they serve 16-ounce Busch Light cans at the bar at that court hearing, or is there somewhere we can get a refreshment, or is it like what the fuck, dude? Yeah, it's so confusing because like if you're Brett Favre, I'd forgotten, Brett Favre, that you stole a bunch of money from a bunch of fucking poor people in Mississippi. Forgot about it until you just brought it back up. Like, talk about defamation, bud. Maybe you should fucking look in a mirror, man. Go into that fucking mansion you own in Mississippi and go into one of the bathrooms. There's a mirror on the wall. It's you're defaming yourself at this point.
He is paying the money back. So obviously he shouldn't have gotten the money. Like clearly there's an acknowledgement there. And the Mississippi state auditor has a paper trail of documentation proving that he shouldn't have gotten the money. So those are things that are based in fact. Okay. So now based on the defamation suit, the only thing that I can think of that makes me that can justify a defamation claim kinda is if his claim is that he didn't know where the funds came from that he then turned around and gave to his daughter's school that built a new volleyball arena or whatever it was.
Right.
That's the only thing that I can think of is so then for them to not lose the defamation case, would they have to prove that he knew it? Like, how does that, how is this going to work? Like, I'm
right. As far as I see it, that's like me, you, and some dude named Scotty being in a room, and you accuse me of stealing money from Scotty. I then don't say anything, stand up, start repaying the money that you accused me of stealing from Scotty to Scotty in front of you. And then when I'm in the middle of it, I just go, you shouldn't have fucking said that I stole money from Scotty. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Brett Favre is doing right now. Like, he's just like basically like paying it back. Like, but still, nobody should have said that I stole it though. But I did. Like, nobody should have said that I stole it though. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's giving it back at the same time. Like, what in the fuck? He like you said, it must just be like one certain case that they have, because they don't have to prove that all of it was, they don't have to say anything about all the rest of it. You can just start paying that back, and they're probably never going to have to address it. But one thing that he actually did do, you know what I'm saying? And they were basically saying that he didn't, and he took the money. That's a case. Like, they're just talking about one specific, thing that all those guys said, and that's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna aim it at one specific case, like where he's, this Friday evening in fucking June of 2016, where he's supposed to do a speaking engagement somewhere and didn't, and showed up. And those guys basically said, he didn't show up for any of those. They're going to get technical about it. And it's a case. I mean, it really is, but it's just, why are you bringing it back up, Brett Favre? What do you think you're going to get out of Pat McAfee?
What does he stand to gain from this? That's my question, because I mean, and you know, when you're dealing with a defamation case and you're claiming someone defamed you, you have to prove loss of income as a result of the false claims that you're alleging. And so for him, he did lose the Sirius satellite radio show. He probably lost some sponsors. So there is a financial loss there that he can prove, but he would have to be able to prove that either the money didn't come, you know, that he didn't get paid for speaking engagements he didn't do, which is documented. But he would have to prove that he didn't know like where the money came from, which would amplify because it came from the
boosters
program.
Yeah.
You know, if it came from the state general fund that he got that $1 million from, people would be talking about it different. Part of the reason he's gotten ripped up about this is because of the fact that it came from the food stamps funds.
What if Brett Favre, the situation was such a big deal that he had to get on food stamps? He lost all of his money and he had to get on food stamps. That'd be ironic, right? How's he going to apply for that with a straight face? You know what I'm saying? Probably not happening. Never going to have to happen.
The caseworker. Imagine being the caseworker that would have to process that. Like, that would be the trippiest fucking shit.
I'd probably trade my job for like a text message of the fucking, you know, just take a picture of it. A picture of the actual form. Be like, ha, look at this. Posting this on Twitter.
I mean, you're going to get paid enough for the rights to that photo that you're not really going to have to work anymore.
Right. I'll see you later. Doug. Well, you still got 5 hours left. No, I'm good.
No, I don't.
I got what I need.
No, I don't.
Guy goes over and looks at his last case he was handling. He's like, fuck. Fuck, he snapped a picture of it. Fuck. Just leak it out.
I'm going down with him.
Right? If you do that, you go to Favre first, right? You got to go to Favre first, right? I mean, send him a picture of it. He doesn't have any money, though.
If he doesn't have any money, like, I mean, what are you doing? You're just telling him that you're getting ready to out him as a poor person? Like,
right, you're just being a dick, man. Like, I feel like that's probably kicking him while he's down. He's fallen so far already. Do you need to do that?
In that scenario, like, his shit is done. And you're just like, you know what? That last little bit of dignity you thought you had, nope.
That's just to drive Brett Favre into Cobaining himself. Like, that's really just what it is. If you had for some reason that intent, that'd be the only reason to do that, because that's so fucked up. I didn't really think of it that way. I was like, oh, yeah. Brett Favre's always going to have money, though.
Probably.
Always. Because he can just do speaking engagements.
You do speaking engagements about money management.
He can come on the show. We'll pay him $26. I got a crisp $26 right now for you, Brett Favre.
It's sitting in Cash App ready to go. Brett Favre, we're ready for you.
We're gonna make you wait in the green room for like 40 minutes before we bring you on and everything. Just be ridiculous about it. And then the first question we're gonna ask you is about the dick pic. We're just gonna first off the bat is gonna be like, so why did you send Allison Pierce a dick pic? Even though it's agreed. It's clearly agreed by his agent and him before the conversation that we don't talk about the dick pic. First question, right off the bat. Just
you're not helping us build credibility for the show, bro. Like, because if any athletes are like, look, I want to make sure that he's not going to ask about this, and you're blatantly making it look like we wouldn't, or that we would, even though we said we wouldn't.
What do they call that?
99% sure what would happen, but like.
Predatory journalism is what they call that, where they basically like they fucking just attack people and then they see how they fucking react or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Anunnaki.
Yeah, we're gonna block that user.
That means something good, guys. We're getting a lot of spam. I think that's good. Isn't it? Spam's like the leaves rustling to the internet.
The leaves rustling. I mean, hey, you know what? I'll take what I can get.
If we're rustling the leaves, the internet's huge, man. That's a big, butterfly effect.
It is. And it's a ripple effect.
Most of all of this just ends up as dead leaves, but you get the point.
So is it possible that Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee made their careers better by defaming Brett Favre on alleged funds that were taken from a food stamps budget, speaking some kind of whatever the hell that was? Does he have any kind of a case?
He has a case for being an egomaniac or a megalomaniac. Yes, I think that I think that Brett Favre is probably has a disorder.
He has a disorder.
He has some kind of disorder. I mean, but like we always talk about, I mean, he got told by everybody around him that he was fucking awesome for his entire life, basically at this point, and still does, by the way.
Yeah.
Like if I saw Brett Favre on the street, I'd be like, holy shit. Like, I'll shake your hand, Brett Favre, not with the dick pic hand, the other hand, but yes. No. He's still getting told that. So he took it a little bit too far. The gunslinger, the old gunslinger probably is taking it too far. And there's no way that he's not a little bit, What do you think Brett Favre does on a daily basis now? Just drinks fucking whiskey and just shoots guns, basically. And that's his everyday, right? He likes that. He likes the country stuff. Drives a F-250 King Ranch, something like that. Brett Favre looks like the guy that hits on your teenage daughter. He does kind of.
Brett Favre looks like the guy that has hit on your teenage daughter.
Brett Favre looks like the guy who hits on a teenage girl because they're his daughter's friend. Brett Favre looks like the guy that has a teenage daughter when he's 60.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes, NFL MVP.
Yeah, duh.
48 of 50 votes.
48 to 50, almost went unanimous.
I honestly, here's the thing, though. Obviously, Jalen Hurts didn't get MVP in part because of the fact that he didn't play those 3 games. But I do still feel like he deserved more than 2 votes.
I think so too. That seems lopsided, but at the same time, Pat should have won 80-20.
I love my Mahomes. We're gonna be talking about Super Bowl here in a minute. Before we wrap up,
96%.
That's
man,
that's
a lot.
Yeah, that is quite a bit. I still have yet to see who got the Walter Payton Man of the Year, but he was up for that as well. So,
actually, fuck that, Tony. Aren't we saying? I mean, we said from the very beginning that decision was right. Patrick Mahomes is definitely okay. So we should be more for them just getting 100% right, because obviously we don't think that us sitting in that position I would have never put Jalen Hurts number 1 on my ballot, right? I think that we should probably agree pretty obviously they did, and now it's just it's a thing. It's an actual factual thing that he is MVP. But I think that we would have done that. I think we should probably encourage them getting as close to possible, because 96% is probably a good thing, but it does seem like a lot. I agree with you. I don't know if I think other people might have thought he got more.
Well, and that's the thing is for me, it was it was just about Geno Smith got comeback player of the year. I hadn't seen that.
Makes
well
sense.
deserved. Well deserved. But it's I get what you're saying, because it just Patrick Mahomes is the MVP, that's just who it is. But I think that it also seems like, and this is what I've observed, that's why I said what I said, that those votes also, some of those are more significant of just recognizing that you were in the conversation. And yes. I feel like when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I respect enough of the quarterback that my team faces on Sunday to say that he probably deserved a little bit more of a consideration.
Right. And unfortunately, I think that it only really matters for the player to have that little bit of satisfaction, because right. in 10 years, we're not going to go, who is the 2023 or 2022 NFL MVP? And everyone's going to say it's Patrick Mahomes. Only people like us probably are going to know that oh yeah, I think Jalen Hurts was in kind of on the conversation on that. Right. And so I think it is just mostly for the player, because I don't think in the future it's not.
Obviously nobody's going to look back and go, oh, well, I mean, especially because it wasn't like it was close. Like they both played a full season and numbers were similar. Like Pat Mahomes was clear MVP.
Yes. I mean, you can't really go anywhere else at this point, especially if he doesn't make the Super Bowl. I think he still is. But I think the Super Bowl was just like did they take those votes before the AFC Championship?
I think they take them, and then they take them out. It's supposed to be after the season, but yeah, it's supposed to just be based on regular season performance. But he set the new single season record for total yards by a quarterback. So I mean,
was it total yards or was it passing yards?
Total yards.
Total yards. So rushing and passing, because I knew he threw for like 5,300, and I know that had been a higher mark. There'd been like a 55.
Right, but it was like his number, like with the total yards, was like 5,600 or something like that. It was something so fucking stupid, and he set a record for it. It's fucking the joy of having Pat Mahomes as your quarterback. Like as I've run into people this week while wearing Chiefs gear, everybody's like, "Man, you've got that guy. It's going to be close." Like, I know that the Eagles are a stacked team, and when you look at as far as who has the better team, it's the Eagles, like clearly.
Overall, I would say, but not by much.
It's, but the, when they talk about ranking the players on the two teams, 3 of the top 5 are Kansas City players.
Right.
But only 4 of the top 10 are Kansas City players.
Right. And they're top heavy. Obviously, like you're basically saying that Philadelphia is deeper. Philadelphia just has they have dudes who are solid starters at every position, essentially. Like they do. And kudos to Philadelphia for building out of the draft. There's only a couple of starters on their entire roster that are not homegrown, and I think that is fantastic for the game because it solidifies the benefits of the draft versus free agents. I think it kind of distracts because Jerry Jones is one of those that's super about building through the draft, doesn't want to do a lot of free agents, and I get it. But at the same time, it's typically not how you get to the dance anymore. Right. You can't buy a bunch of guys and just try and fit it together like a jigsaw puzzle. I mean, like I love it because in our show, we naturally come up with a bunch of reasons why we should do this show. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that is people and personalities are what make those teams. And that's why when you build in the draft, all those guys are together for years at a time. Right. And they feel personal connections within their job, exactly like anybody else does. Right. And how would you feel if a person, like, say you work at a factory and the guy, you do one job with the guy every day and you guys have a great fucking rhythm. And then they just bring in somebody else, completely replace the dude you've been doing it with it for 2 years, with some guy who they say is better at it, but you guys don't have near the chemistry or anything with doing that one process of a assembly line or whatever your fucking job is.
Right.
That's exactly the
No,
same thing. Like, why would you? Yeah. Like, oh, you guys are saying he's better. How? On what metrics? Like, was he working with a good partner and getting a bunch of production? Like I am, like my guy was. I get the whole part of it, like from a personality standpoint, because you want to know that your team is like actually behind you. They drafted you. That's where you want to be at. Yeah. It'd be bad to go. It would be bad to just go completely free agency ever. Obviously, because yeah.
No, and I think you're right. You don't want to just go free agency, but you also wouldn't normally typically see a team be successful strictly out of the draft because, like I said, 2 of the starters across their roster are not homegrown.
That's crazy.
You don't see that low of a number for that. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I think is special about that team. And one of the reasons I respect him is because, just like you said, they have had that ability to build that chemistry. Look at how many, yes, Kansas City builds well through the draft. Brett Veach is a fucking god. But also, Kansas City's more the common prototype of what you would like to see with an NFL team is a nice blend of the draft and both. Free agency. Right. There's the because you don't want to just be a free agent team because, like, look at what the Lakers are going to have to deal with. When you don't have picks, you're just going to have to sign free agents, and it's going to be harder to build that chemistry without it pricing you out of the market. Whereas if you have some guys out of the draft that are good, you can build them up. You can build up that way. Right. And, kind of like with the way that Phoenix has it with the culture, like since Devin has come up with the organization and he's now the face, there is, there's a clear direction when it comes to the culture. And the Lakers don't get to have that because especially once LeBron leaves and they nuke that roster, it's only going to be worse for a long time because they're just going to be building off of free agency.
Right. And you get all those guys and it's just a mishmash of fucking, like every year there's like, I mean, every year with the Lakers, even when in the LeBron era, like now, has been fucking just a bunch, like just so many different dudes, man. Like there's no way that you can actually and football is a little different though, obviously, because you have a full team game, right?
Well,
like
there's obviously a much bigger roster in that case.
Right. And it's such like you have to work together so much on your unit. Like you really do. Like you have to like be, obviously all the pieces have to line up and all that stuff more than the NBA. Right. Because in the NBA, I mean, LeBron has showed it. He got to the 10 straight Eastern Conference finals or whatever, or the finals by a bunch of different rosters, like different teams, different rosters. Right. So the NBA is a little different because obviously you have these guys who can just dominate and just can basically change kind of because there's only 5 guys. You can't do that on a football field. Like you got to have your dudes. We've seen that with Joe Burrow, who doesn't have an offensive line per se. You know what I'm saying? When Patrick Mahomes doesn't get protected, he's not so it works with everybody more than it does in the NBA. And that's why I think it's so important to build through the draft mostly, right? Like we're saying, basically, it's just that's you got to like get a good camaraderie more than almost any other sport, really.
Well, I think the fact that it's a contact sport and also you have to have a lot of trust. Like, you played organized football. Like you've got to be able to trust that the guys next to you are going to do their job so you can focus completely on your job and not get distracted by what's going on in the other side of the field. You've got to focus on your role. That's your job. And you've got to have trust that your teammates are going to do their job. And it takes time to build that trust so that you can hone in. And that's why that's one of the most important pieces of training camp is because you're just getting that unit, you're getting into unison as a group. And that's why you spend so much time in that group is because you're just trying to get to know where you can rely on your brothers, your teammates, as you get ready to go into the season.
Right. And do you think that has a lot to do with, I think you kind of like touched on it a little bit. Like, do you think that has a lot to do with the fact that you can fucking die during a football game? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody misses a block and somebody gets hit from behind, like think about the Chiefs Patriots game, 2008, second year back with, who was that? It was Antoine, not Bethea. It was one of their safeties, one of the Chiefs safeties from a long time ago. Just went low. He fell. He clearly fell and just tried to like dive at fucking Tom Brady's knee. And Tom was fucking throwing the ball, tore his ACL and shit all up because he literally just went right into his knee and it went back, right? And that's Kevin Falk missing a fucking block. And, just how that can change the dynamic. That's one fucking block and you're done. He was done for like fucking 10 months, right? And like you can get really fucked up in football from like somebody not doing their job. Like, dude, real quick story. I missed a fucking block one time in high school on a fucking punt return. And the dude who was returning the punt it was one of my best friends, just got fucking leveled, like right up underneath the fucking face mask, dude. I think it knocked him out for a second. Like he was fucking snoring for a second.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And like, dude, I fucking like lost it on the field. Like I just started crying and like uncontrollably because you have all that adrenaline going and shit. You just feel so much more terrible than you feel so much more terrible about it. And obviously like, I didn't know if he's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine like just worrying like that?
You watch somebody get lit up like that. Like you don't want that. I mean, because you don't want that to happen in general, but especially if it's a teammate that you've just spent the last 3 weeks and 2-a-days grinding through the mud and the sweat and the blood. And then you make a mistake and they get leveled. You immediately feel the weight of that decision from you immediately feel the gravity of that mistake.
Right. Especially when you see him, when you see him laying on the ground and stuff like that, that's reality. And you know exactly what happened. Like that was my block 100%. No and there's nothing you can do about it because you're trying. That's why they say you have to go 100%. Like a reason why a lot of these football injuries happen at a lower level Like especially I see it in college a ton, like absolutely in high school. Good thing about high school, they're not usually going fast enough or they're not big enough to be like breaking fucking bones regularly and shit. Obviously people break bones in high school, but like they're not big enough and fast enough to be really, really, really hurting each other. The worst place is in college because those dudes are fucking big enough and strong enough and fast enough to fucking hurt each other. And they're not always the most technically sound. And so it becomes like they're going 75%. They don't know what they're doing. And then like, that's why you say like, if you're going to make a mistake, make it big because you don't want to half-ass it and be caught in the middle because that's when dudes get fucking wrecked is when you're just like in the middle and you're standing straight up and you have no defense. You know, those are the worst times when you're trying to like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then somebody gets fucking killed basically. So, yeah, like, but that's why it's more important. And that's why the Eagles got to the fucking Super Bowl is because they got Lane Johnson wearing his fucking German Shepherd mask and fucking all those guys.
He eats 5,500 calories a day to stay 330 pounds. I saw an article on that today. Like he's one of those where he has like a dietitian, everything, all of his meals are planned out. Like I was like, that dude is a beast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And think about the what he's doing to his body to stay at that ideal weight for that game, which is 330 pounds. That's not the ideal weight for any body type. There's not a body type that exists where 330 pounds is healthy. But he has to work to maintain that, especially because of all the work he does and the sweating that he does. He has to put like copious amounts of salt on his food and stuff like that because he sweats so much of it out and he's trying to maintain that weight. Like that's just ridiculous.
That's a whole different kind of struggle at that point. I mean, they like I told you about it. They used to feed us college football, like just in normal, no name college football. They would feed us every like 4 hours during 2 days. Like you go to the cafeteria and they shut that thing down and it's just buffet style. Like you just eat as much as you can because we're about to fucking work that shit out of you. Like you're not gonna be worried about it in a second. Like we're gonna get every one of those calories out because we're gonna fucking work, just work you all day long and lifting weights and everything. Your body needs needs fuel.
Right.
And Lane Johnson probably has a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lane's got a lot of it. Lane has got a lot of it.
Respect.
Right? Like, Jesus. I mean, that's bodybuilder type, like, maintenance, basically. Like, you don't, cut every bit of fat out of your diet. And obviously, Lane's is a different kind of diet. His is probably a lot of, like, fucking protein, carbs, a lot of that, carbohydrate shit. Just anything to try and make him fatter for real because he's going to lose it all, Like, it's not hard to stay 330 pounds at 5'9". You just, at that point, I think you're just obese. But, like, he's 6'5", 330, and it's got to be athletic. He's got to be light on his feet and things like that. That's the freakishly hard part. And he's been doing it for a while too. Dude's a stud. Might as well for Erica. Lane Johnson from
Oklahoma.
Oh, you.
Yeah. So I was reminded about something today. Creed Humphrey, the center for the Chiefs,
Yep.
Has been the center for both of the quarterbacks that are playing on Sunday.
Wow.
Because he was the center for Jalen Hurts. It was Creed's redshirt sophomore year at Oklahoma after he got benched for 2 of the year before. And so he's played with both of them.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty. Yeah, I thought that was pretty legit.
From probably what he's got to be top 3 center in the NFL.
Creed just now, he's already he's all pro center already.
Just came in.
This is his second year.
Yeah, it was already fucking like they were like, oh shit, this kid's fucking good. Like
there was a huge push for him to get offensive rookie of the year last year. Like the band Creed, the actual band Creed made a video supporting Creed Humphrey for offensive rookie of the year in the push to get him voted for him.
Oh god.
And he did get some votes. Like, oh yeah, and the video was so fucking cheesy. Like so fucking cheesy.
I was gonna say I saw the one Scott Stapp made about the Chicago Cubs. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, that's
I apologize before you watch it. It's so fucking bad. Like
but so go watch it. Seriously, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I guess he lives down here in Arizona.
Stealing Eddie Vedder's voice and shit.
He knows.
There's a celebrity death match between him and Eddie Vedder. And Eddie Vedder wins by ripping Scott Stapp's vocal cords out. Celebrity Deathmatch because he stole his voice. He did.
He stole his voice, yeah.
Not, he can't steal those lyrics, but he stole the voice.
We really need to push Ice Cube to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch.
That'd be so fucking awesome. Was that they did it originally?
No, he bought the rights to it a while back, and Ice Cube owns the rights to it. Every once in a while, I just tweet at him like, "Hey, Ice Cube, when are you gonna bring back Celebrity Deathmatch?" And I don't ever get anything, but I figure if we all do it one day, he will listen and tell us he's not going to do it, but we can at least keep trying and annoy him into submission. If we can get them to fix a Sonic movie, we can get back Celebrity Deathmatch.
Absolutely.
So tweet
it's doable
at Ice Cube. We want Celebrity Deathmatch back. Tag me on Twitter at 7Poslot so I can support you.
The dream is not dead.
It will happen. I believe in it. I want to see Celebrity Deathmatch come back, and Ice Cube holds the keys. He needs to unfreeze him. Like, he can still be Ice Cube, but unfreeze the keys. Like, I don't know if he realizes that he's not going to lose the ice part of his name. Like, but most people still just call him Cube for short anyway, so I don't get what the fucking problem is. But he still gets to keep the ice part. It's like, Sir Elton John. Yes, it's always going to be there. But Cube, come on, bro. Give me back Celebrity Deathmatch.
And the best part about him is financially, he is liquid. He's liquid.
And there's no way that at least YouTube wouldn't be like, yeah, look, we'll give you a premium channel. We'll make sure you're boosted in the algorithm as much as we can.
Right. Well, it's Ice Cube.
And it's Ice Cube. And then you also add in a Celebrity Deathmatch video game would sell like fucking hotcakes.
Oh yeah, that'd be fucking sweet.
Oh my God. But the problem is the likeness rights that you have to get for it to do something like that. Because you can get away with it for the TV show because it's a parody. But when you put those likenesses into a video game, some people are going to want to get paid.
And start selling it. Yeah, you start selling it. It becomes kind of an issue. Maybe just put names that are very close, like Stott Scap. Shit like that. Just mix them around a little bit. Be like, we know who he's talking about. It's Freddie Vetter. Like shit like that. Yeah, you could mix it around. We'll get past some copyright shits.
Reminds me, there's a video game that used to be really popular with the older generation, like Xbox 360. It was called Backbreaker. It was a football game, so think like Madden or 2K. But it didn't have the name brand teams. But it had 32 creative team slots. And somehow you could always go online and get the updated rosters with stats and player images and everything for the current teams. Like, you can still get current rosters for that game. Like, there's a thread online that I can go get it anytime I want if I want to get my Xbox 360 up. Like, and they put conveniently 32 creative team slots in the game. Like, are you fucking serious?
Right. I bet the numbers were the same on the players too. Like they just all they had to do was change their names.
Exact. No. Yeah. Well, and like the teams that are just on there, like they're just, run of the mill consistent teams that vary in ability and stuff like that. And you can do a season with them, or you can upload the 32 teams, and the file for the uploading the current rosters also includes the current season. So you can just go through and do a season as the Chiefs today from a game that's 15, 20 years old.
And number 15's name is Elijah Smith. And he looks exactly like, I'm just kidding. He looks exactly like Patrick Mahomes. And
it's Patrick Mahomes. It says Mahomes the second. Yeah, they all the names, all the stats, everything, it all goes in.
Wow. So it's not even like, it's basically just all you have to do is download it and then it becomes like the same game.
Yeah.
Like basically they're like we can put it in there if we don't put it on there originally, but we can put it after. I see. That's interesting.
Somehow it gets online aftermarket for every season.
Kind of like the old NCAA games where if you're playing with Florida and you had number 10 as your quarterback, you know who you had as your quarterback, right? Like that guy was, that's Tim Tebow. Like that's
Tim Tebow.
He's a fucking 99. Like you're like, oh yeah, okay. So I get number QB 10 is, like it's like obvious, but yeah, those were so stupid though too. Why don't you just put a fake name in there? other than like his last name being 10, like a number. What is this, Hitman? Like, let's get some fake names in there. These aren't barcodes. Fucking QB number 10.
At the college level, they kind of are, man. Think about it. That many
They used to
players
be.
in that fucking industry. I mean,
Right.
NIL has made it better, which I think is good. Again, I of course we support the NIL stuff that's going on, but at the same time, man, that's still kind of just it's an industry.
90% of those teams aren't getting paid though, right? I mean, so you're going to have inevitably very important pieces to a team that don't get paid any NIL money, even in Division I, right? I mean, maybe eventually if they
but what's happening is a lot of these kids that are getting NIL deals are making sure as part of their deal that their teammates are getting stuff as well.
That's awesome.
It's and I'm not saying it's happening with everyone, because I'm sure there's some of these kids like, oh, you're going to give me a $13.5 million NIL deal. Go fuck yourself. This is my money. I'm not saying that hasn't happened, which, yeah, exactly. But a lot of these kids, especially some of the ones that are getting it that are actually came from money, they're, wanting it dispersed to their teammates.
That's awesome.
So I think
awesome.
I think that's a great way to establish a culture for that. And it makes it harder for the NCAA to kind of crack down on things and put limits, because you're seeing too many consistent examples of these guys that are just taking care of their brothers. But it's their money. It's their money. They deserved it. They've earned it. If someone's willing to say, I'm going to give you $1 million a year to go to college and play football for Alabama, and you take it because you think you can, good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
why? $4 million.
It's Alabama's going to make that on you that season 10 times over, 100 times over. What do they give a fuck?
Yeah. It's an investment. You work for them now.
Exactly. As it should have been.
It should have. There's that kid from Tennessee that has like he's worth like $8.5 million. He's 17 years old. He's a quarterback. He hasn't even like played his senior year yet. And it's like, geez, like giving kids. I mean, I'm sure his parents probably have control of it. I would assume that's in some way, shape, or form. But like
hope so.
That's giving kids money real young. Like, and hopefully that doesn't, but who knows? It's just on how you handle it. I mean, you can have guys handle $100,000 worse than dudes handle 8 million. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's individual to individual. And it's going to be a fucking great entertainment. It's going to give us a lot of content.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sure.
got Antonio Brown's running all over the place. Yes, content. What Antonio do? He shot off a hooker's toe. Yeah, okay. Sounds like it. Everyone's like, yeah. I mean, that seems like something Antonio Brown would do. Yeah.
If somebody said that, would be like, yeah. I mean,
we wouldn't even be shocked.
He's like a black Charlie Sheen at this point.
Seems right. Seems right in line. It seems in line. Like, it seems like the next step for him before just outright prison. I'm assuming. I don't really know.
I'm just waiting for the Tiger's blood thing. Like, I need him to, like, if he's gonna be black athletic Charlie Sheen, I need the Tiger's blood speech from Antonio Brown. Like, that's what I need.
Your own version is fine, Antonio. You can do your own version. You don't have to do just Tiger's blood, but do something similar. We want something similar. Did you know that did you know that Justin Verlander owns a Tiger?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, cool. Because he lives in Texas, he can own it. I mean, you can just own whatever you want.
I mean, yeah. Well, no. What it is people don't realize actually Kate Upton is a shapeshifter. The tiger is Kate Upton.
It's Kate Upton, and he
keeps
her on a leash. That's how they keep it spicy.
Yeah. We don't kink shame here, Dan. We've talked about this. We don't kink shame.
Oh, absolutely. I don't tiger shame at all. I'm not tiger shaming. If you're of the status of Scarface, Mike Tyson, and Justin Verlander, then you own a tiger, motherfucker. You own that tiger. If you want to, if you feel like that's part of your personality and you can own a tiger, then you own a tiger. Doesn't hit me as the guy. There's more captive tigers in the state of Texas than there's in the whole rest of the world combined. You know that? There's a fun fact for you.
Are you serious?
I'm going to say that again. More captive tigers in the state of Texas than there is in the whole rest of the world combined. Yeah. It's in the millions, I believe. A lot of them are on fucking like farms like fucking Tiger King shit. I think probably better taken care of ones, obviously, but like huge reserves and shit. But like, yes, a lot of them are privately owned. A lot of them are privately owned. A lot. Yeah. Isn't that fucking, that stat's fucking amazing. Yeah. There's, the live ones are fucking like, I think there's like a couple of states in the United States that have more tigers than there is live in Africa still. A couple of states. Like we're the only, like apparently like the tigers really can't keep themselves alive very well because people are poaching them and shit. So they're getting shot, which is not really their fault. But we're actually just not shooting them here. So we're getting way bigger numbers because we're breeding them and, you know, they're staying alive. So it's kind of a disadvantage for us because they don't have the wild and shit, but still.
So what we're saying is it's possible that I could actually have a domesticated tiger one day that's not dangerous if podcasting gets me rich enough.
Yes, 100%, which, you know, it won't. But like, yeah, you would spend, if you spent everything that you ever made on a tiger cub, I believe they run about fucking 500 grand.
500 like grand. That sounds about
for
right.
A tiger cub. You can breed it with your house cat. It all works together. It's all it's a pretty fluent gene. It's pretty fluent genetically. Cats are.
I just want to feel like Princess Jasmine and have Raja right there.
Yes, and for a couple of days until it bites your face off because you don't get it. But I mean, yes, like if I guess you would have to breed a little bit because obviously we haven't got them enough generations through to breed domestication into them, which right. I think a lot of people would be against doing in the first place. But like, I mean, if we're gonna keep them alive, then you know, if they're over there just like getting poached and shit, we should probably try and keep them alive. But they're gonna get like way more like bigger pussies. They're gonna be way no pun intended. They're gonna be way bigger pussies than they are over in Africa. They're just gonna be like very lazy, probably fat. You know, cats, like literally like your house cat. I'm perfectly
fine. Like because they're big enough once they're fully grown that I could just like lay down on one completely as a bed, and yes. The purring, like you just pet it, get it purring while I was laying there, and I'll just go right to sleep. Like that just sounds fantastic.
Instead of your house cat laying on top of you, you actually lay on top of the cat like that. Like you lay on its chest.
100%. This is why I can't work in a zoo because I would be like, I want to pet this kitty. And then I would be on a fucking news story. This guy got eaten because he wanted to pet the kitty. It would just fucking like rip your insides out because it would do one of those things like where you pick a house cat up and like trying to hold it and it like kind of squirms out of your hand, you know, like it would just do that like in real life and it would just rip all your insides open because it doesn't like know how strong it is. And you would just be trying to play with it and it would just like go get away from me. And it would just kill you. That's what would happen because it's just way bigger and way stronger than you are. There are a couple of accounts like through Facebook Reels that have like sanctuaries and stuff with like tigers and lions and shit. And they show videos of like interacting with the cats and stuff. And I'm just like, that would be so fucking cool. Like, I love what those people do, the conservation, you know, keeping them safe, making sure that they're properly cared for. Like, that's amazing. And I'll sit and watch videos on an account like that because I want them to get that financial support because those are beautiful animals that should be taken care of.
There should be at least a couple of them. Like, and yes, people could say that it's for human entertainment, kind of. Like, we're kind of being selfish about it. We're kind of like, yeah, we want them to stay here because we like them and we think they're pretty. But at the same time, like, it's not really about that either. It's more like we would just like them to stay alive. You know, like, we would like to, like, have a tiger that's alive still. Like, you know, because a lot of people would say, like, yeah, you need to just, like, let them go and they're going to go extinct by themselves. A lot of that's from us, though. So, like, we should do our part on the other side, you know what I'm saying? Like, to keep them alive.
It's just like with the conservation of buffalo and bringing them back into our normal numbers to where it's actually getting to the point where there are states where you will be able to hunt buffalo again at some point. There is, you know, conservation is important. We can get them back to where it's fine. It happens. Right. Like, it's part of animal conservation. That's what your game and fish departments in your states do, is they are trying to get they're trying to get they're just trying to get the population back to where it can be so that they don't disappear.
I read, I think it was like a geological thing the other day that was by 2040, half of the world's species are going to be extinct. That's half of all species on planet Earth. Biological. By 2040.
Well, I mean, and think about all of the species that have gone extinct before. Like, there's a natural circle of life where things change and new species come out. they're going to be
Right.
like, oh, we just discovered this. No, it really just came into being. Like it just evolved. Like we're seeing this happen all around us. Now, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be responsible enough to try and protect what we can, because some of this was spurred on by human,
Right.
inaction and too much action, especially like what you see down in the rainforest and stuff like that. But like conservation is important. And I think that there are some people that forget the value in investing in conservation, because it protects what options we have as a society for animals to enjoy in various ways, whether it's by looking, some of them, yes, or for, being able to potentially eat in the future, just for hunting in general, like whatever. Conservation is important regardless.
Absolutely. And just to keep that, because I think a lot of that's going to be like bowling ball effect, where one species is going to die, and that's the top of the food chain. So everything down then that is symbiotic to it or feeds off of it, parasitic even, is going to die too, because it doesn't have its main, it doesn't have the top of the food chain type animal, because they just went because we fucking killed them, or they just died naturally. Their environment runs out is a lot of it. Their environment just becomes nothing, so they don't have any space is a lot of it. So yeah, it's kind of on us. So we should probably like do something on the opposite end. But yeah. Next week on Animal Rights Thursday, me and Tony will be discussing the Amish parakeet and its origins right here on Sports Report.
Definitely, for sure. We will also be talking about why PETA is horrible, because they kill more animals than they save.
PETA? You should join PETA. You should join PETA. Why would I join myself, Lois? I don't understand. No, PETA. You join PETA. No, I get it. You keep saying that, but what I'm saying is you should join PETA. So fucking stupid.
It is so fucking stupid. All right, man.
It is.
Quick last thing before we wrap up. Super Bowl prediction. Eagles, Chiefs. Who you got?
Chiefs 31-26.
I am going at Chiefs 34-31.
Love it.
Take the over, people. Trust me.
The Chiefs. It's got an I before the E in Chiefs.
Yep.
When you're writing it down, just for you English aficionados out there.
All right. It was a pleasure to work with you tonight, buddy. We will see you next week. Thank you for those of you that joined us. Don't forget, you can catch. Oh, by the way, are you going to do Super Bowl with me first half?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Catch Dan and I Sunday during the Super Bowl. We will be live streaming during the first half, calling the game and talking about it. Dan and I haven't gotten to call a game yet. This is the first of many. We've been trying to do this for a while, so we will definitely entertain you during that first half. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here. If you're seeing it, you'll see it then. Thank you for supporting us tonight, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Great night.
Free Fernando Tatis. Free Fernando. Fernando. You don't have to be like your father.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in